Hi everyone, it's Emma, and today I'm going to be doing 4 book reviews in 8 minutes. Hopefully this ends up being 8 minutes, otherwise this is just going to be a recent reads video. Basically, I finished up a bunch of books recently that I haven't talked about on my channel at all, and I wanted to get the chance to talk about them, but I don't have time to make a book review for every single one, so I decided to make this video instead. I'm going to try and be speedy about it and give my thoughts in a clear, concise way that makes you understand it without doing like a full review. So let's just see how this goes. The first one was definitely a surprise to me. It's The Female of the Species by Mindy McGinnis. This is one of those books that ever since it came out, I was really drawn towards it. I like the cover, I like the title, but I didn't know anything about the plot. I didn't really hear any reviews that made me interested in it. It just, for some reason, caught my eye, and I decided to just pick this one up in a bookstore and start reading it. And I'm really, really glad that I did. It was so thought-provoking. This book did so much. The first chapter, I was kind of wary, and I'm going to explain why. The thing that this book did that really impressed me was it handled rape culture in a way that I've never before seen in a YA book, or probably any book. The author just really accomplished a lot with the way that she portrayed this high school, these characters. The reason that I was unsure about it for like the first couple chapters is because it's pretty gritty compared to the other things that I usually read. There's a lot of talk about alcohol, drugs, sex. There's a lot of talk about violence. There are at least 2 attempted rape scenes in this book. So, lots of trigger warnings. I will probably list them all in the description. That being said, I was amazed by this book. By the time I finished it, I sobbed just for the pure emotional impact that it had on me. This is one of those books that I want to be able to say, like, everyone should read this book because I think it's really socially relevant, but I can't do that because it is so gritty. Everyone has a different level of what is best for them to read. For me, this was incredibly beneficial. I think I learned a lot. I think it made me think a lot about the way that I talk about things, the way that other people talk about things. But I absolutely recognize that is not the case for everyone, and it is up to you. But basically, I loved this book. I almost gave it 5 stars just because I was so impressed and like so grateful for what the author did. A+. I loved good things. Feminist. Hiya. After I read that one, I had to balance it out. So the next book that I read was Karela by Ashley Poston. This book was so cute. I loved it for completely different reasons than The Female of the Species. What I loved about this one was just the pure love for nerd culture. It made me feel so understood. Like all the nerdy things that I've loved in my life were referenced in this book. Within the first little bit, they had made like 2 Doctor Who references, a Gilmore Girls reference. This is basically a Cinderella retelling, but the ball, instead of being a ball, is a cosplay bash / Comic-Con type event. Instead of her like remaking her mother's dress, she remakes her parents' cosplay outfits. That's all you need to know. I'm looking back at my notes and I had just written down, I love nerds. I am a nerd. It was just really uplifting, especially after Female of the Species, which was like, yes, I loved it in a this is so important to me way. This one was like, I love this in a this is meaningful and relatable to my life kind of way. Another book that I read recently was this poetry book called Love Her Wild. It's Atticus poems. You've probably seen Atticus poems. Reading through this book, I recognized a lot of them from seeing them on like Pinterest and Tumblr and Instagram and whatnot. But this is a book of the poems all brought together with photography, and I enjoyed it. The poems are not my most favorite poems. I don't think that they were the kind that's like, oh, my soul understands this. But because it was put together with the photographs, the reading experience was so lovely. I sat and read this in one day. The whole way the book was put together I thought was beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. I'm really glad that I picked this up. I actually picked it up because one day I was alphabetizing the poetry section at work, and I saw this, and that was a really bad idea actually to alphabetize that section because I got a lot of stuff. The last book that I read recently, which I actually finished this morning, is Note to Self by Karela. I had a very similar experience with this book as I did with Love Her Wild. The writing, I wasn't over the moon crazy for it, but because it was put together in such a way, I really enjoyed the reading experience. Karela is a YouTuber, and he wrote this book with poetry and photography and essays about his life. It's not fiction. On the back it says, "This is an open diary. This gives my insides a voice through visuals and poetry. This is me spilled out onto paper." It really is that. It really is like his internal thoughts put out there in a creative way. So I did enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't think it was really polished. There could have been more of a relation with the pictures and the poetry and the essays that could have made a bigger picture. But because it's so beautiful and the pictures are so beautiful and it's poetry / essays, I still really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, but I think it was more like 3.5 stars for me. And I've taken a ton of pictures of it, and I do suggest it. And I also like the fact that it's written by a YouTuber, but if it was not written by a YouTuber, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much. It's just that it was put together in such a beautiful way. Like, look at this. This is so pretty. It doesn't hurt that this is like my aesthetic in a book. The side is literally pink and blue ombre. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. I would be especially curious to know if any of you have read The Female of the Species, because as soon as I picked it up and started posting on social media about it, I got a lot of messages from people saying it was like their favorite book ever and no one ever talks about it. So I would love to hear from you guys who have read it, or if you plan to read it. If you want to see all the pictures that I took of these books, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter, because I have posted a lot of pictures of these books recently. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a bright day, and I will see you soon in a new video.